Well, the Cubs are back home as they continue to celebrate 100 years of Wrigley Field, and this homestand focusing in on the decade of the tens, which is appropriate because that's the wind chill today. Wind howling off the lake. It's the Hyundai leadoff man. Hi again, everyone. I'm Len Casper. Cubs hosting the Reds. This is the first of a 3-game series and a 7-game homestand. It's been a tough go for the Cubs. They have not scored a run since Sunday, although they've only played 2 games, the doubleheader sweep in New York. And as we look ahead to the schedule now, moving forward, you know, last year we talked about all the teams with winning records from 2013. So they play a team that has a winning or a losing record, but was in the playoffs last year in the Reds. The Diamondbacks really scuffling off to a terrible start. We've got the big game coming up on the 23rd. That is the 100th anniversary of the opening day of Wrigley Field back in 1914. The Cubs will wear those throwback unis, and then a tough road trip coming up in Milwaukee starting next Friday. The leadoff man is brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers, who invite you to come test drive the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. Visit myhyundaichicago.com. Your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers, who invite you to come in and test drive our award-winning lineup today. Visit buyhyundai.com. Well, coming up this Sunday night, you will not want to miss Wrigley 100, a century celebration, 7 o'clock Central Time, right here on WGN. The wind, as we mentioned, is howling straight in today. A lot of times during the summer, though, it blows straight out.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea.
Every start, you wake up, right when you wake up, you look outside your window to see which way the wind's blowing. One of the first things you needed to know.
One of the first things I did every game, you know, you come in through the entrance there off of whatever the street is there, and before I would walk up the steps of the clubhouse, I'd walk up the runway to check out the flag. It's a completely different game.
But don't go away, folks. A lot more of those are going to be hit today, the way that wind is blowing.
When that alarm clock went off, I want to know right now if it's blowing in or out. That set my whole mood for the day.
Yep, it's going to stay in, and he has it. Ooh, the wind did the Cubs a favor that time.
The misnomer, I think, is that it's always an offensive park. And, in fact, the wind blows in probably 2 out of every 3 days at Wrigley Field.
I think the fact that Wrigley Field, like no other park, plays to the elements so much.
When I first got here, I was afraid to get the ball airborne, and I would always pitch away. But when you play here for a number of years, you realize that Wrigley Field with the wind blowing out, guys will change their swing because they want to get it airborne. And you have to learn how to pitch inside here. Absolutely paramount.
Strike three. Boy, is that fast slider working today.
I try to tell myself this is a pitcher's park, which is I try to make every attitude that a pitcher should have. Forget about the wind, that you can't do anything about the elements, and just go out there and perform.
I actually love the wind. I thought it was great that, one day it might be 14-12, and the next day it's going to be 2-1. That was the beauty of playing there every day. Every day was different.
Get one up on that Buick sign out there. Got the wind behind you.
There would be days when I knew it was blowing out, I'd get a speeding ticket trying to get here to play. And then you could see it when it was cold and blowing in. You were thinking, oh, man, this is going to be a really hard day to hit.
Philippe Ballou keeps going back. Hey, it's off the line. The wind got it. Saddles racing for third. He's going to make it easily. A triple to center field by Saddle.
There's been stories where pitchers developed mysterious neck injuries when they saw the flags blowing out. And if the flags were blowing in, they couldn't wait to get their uniforms on and get out there and start warming up.
You get on the team bus, and there was no mercy to be had. If it was a hot day and the wind was, you could tell downtown if the wind was going to be blowing out the ballpark, guys would be, uh-oh. Good day to come down with a sore elbow. You don't want to go out there today.
To you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers, who invite you to come in and test drive our award-winning lineup today. Visit buyhyundai.com.
Here in the second. Bouncing ball to third. Solarte steps on third, throws a second one on the first. It's a triple play.
Ken Singleton with the call. The Yankees turning a triple play. They actually turned one about a year ago. CC Sabathia has been involved with 3 already with the Yankees. You see the Cardinals, Adam Wainwright with his 7th career shutout. They're just a game back of Milwaukee. It's still early. The Twins off to a good start. They're just a half game back of Detroit in the American League Central. We have the Reds and Cubs coming up from Wrigley Field. Stay with us. blue skies above, but it's pretty cold today as we bring you Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. Wind blowing straight in off the lake as the Reds and Cubs play Game 1, and we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Great to have you with us. First of a 7-game homestand. Nice lid. I like it. Jim DeShays and Len Casper. The Cubs playing a Reds team that got off to a terrible start, but they're starting to get their offensive mojo back.
Yeah, and this is a club that has made Wrigley Field their personal playground over the last couple of years. The Reds have won 15 of the last 16 ball games at Wrigley Field between these two teams. Sluggish early, first 11 games of hitting just .219, 3-8. Lately, they've heated up. Joey Votto, in particular, really swinging it well.
And the Cubs need to get their bats going after getting shut out in a doubleheader sweep on Wednesday. You got to get Jeff Samardzija a win.
That's what the pom-pom's all about. We're going to get Samardzija some runs here today. He's been really good all 3 times he's taken the bump so far this year, and really good at St. Louis. 7 innings, allowed just 1 earned run, but it was not enough.
Alfredo Simon goes from the bullpen to the rotation because Matt Latos is on the DL, but he might stay in it for a while.
Really good for them out of the pen last year through 2 starts. Outstanding work. Last time out, 8 innings of 1-run baseball against the Rays.
Let's go down to the field for our national anthem.
Accompanied by Gary Pressey at the Lowry organ as they honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition on WGN TV is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Well, young Cub fans manning the positions. And Tinker to Evers to Chance, right? It's Joe Tinker bobblehead day.
I love guys dressed for the weather.
Yeah, it is.
Don't have any outfielders, though. Better keep the ball down.
It's cold with that wind coming in off the lake. So this week, honoring the 1910s, as this ballpark opened in 1914. And the Cubs moved in here in 1916. Had a segment of big special coming up Sunday night and focusing in on the wind. And it really does play as two different ballparks.
Yeah, today it sets up to be a pitcher's day here at Wrigley. You never know, but and this ballpark earned its reputation on those days where the wind's blowing out and it's 14 to 12 and everybody thinks, my goodness, what a great place to hit. But if you're here a lot, you realize that the wind blows in way more than it blows out, and ultimately pretty neutral ballpark, or at least more neutral than people realize.
Right. Doug Eddings will handle balls and strikes today. Marvin Hudson's at first, Corey Blazer at second, and the crew chief is Jim Joyce. He'll be over third.
Do you think agents, when they prepare arbitration cases for their pitchers, will say, look, he pitched, he made 19 home starts at Wrigley and the wind was blowing out 14 times, right? I mean, if you're doing your due diligence, you're going to bring that to the table.
You probably should. Park factor is certainly something that matters. Although Jeff Samardzija so far, it hasn't really mattered where he's pitched or the conditions. He's just been really good. Still looking for his first win. Now the Reds lineup, written out by their new manager, Brian Price. Speedy Billy Hamilton hasn't gotten on base enough, but when he does, he will run. Joey Votto moving up from 3 to 2. More on that later. Phillips, Bruce, Frazier. Ryan Ludwig, the veteran, out in left. Devin Mesoraco started on the DL, but since his return has been their best hitter. Zach Cozart, the shortstop, off to a slow start. And Alfredo Simon, the pitcher, bats ninth.
Well, bright sky overhead, a windy day. Could be some challenges for the outfielders. And Lake, Sweeney, and Schuerholz will patrol the pasture this afternoon for the Cubs. Infield, Valbuena, Castro, Bonifacio, and Rizzo, who continues to play errorless baseball. Wellington Castillo behind the plate. And Jeff Samardzija is still in search of that first win of this year. And first one since the end of August of last season, despite some real quality work. 0-1 with a 1.29 ERA. That's the third best in the National League. 3 starts, very good each and every time he's gone out there. Worked against the Reds 5 times last year. 5 starts, he was 0-2 with a 5.16 ERA against Cincinnati.
It's been a real struggle, as you mentioned in the open, against this Reds team, particularly in this ballpark. The Reds have won 15 of their last 16, and at one point a record 12 in a row. So here's Hamilton. He's a switch hitter.
I mean, obviously the Reds have had good teams the last couple of years, and the Cubs have not, but still, that's a staggering level of success they've had here. To do that in any road ballpark.
Those numbers right there need to improve a lot for him to be an effective leadoff hitter. He replaces Shin-Soo Choo, who's now with the Rangers. A lot of fastballs from Samardzija last time out.
Oh, my goodness. About 85% fastballs for Jeff. He threw 98 pitches in that 7-inning outing against St. Louis. It just early on went to the whip, one fastball after another.
Ball 2, 2-1.
Doug Eddings, the home plate umpire, has a reputation of having a very big zone. Well, Jeff may have gotten squeezed a little bit on that previous pitch.
Fouled back, and it's 2-2 on Hamilton, who has stolen 395 bases in the minors. So 38, the wind chill right at freezing, and a pretty stiff breeze coming out of the northeast. Straight in from center. Well, that didn't miss by much either. 3-2 the count with Votto on deck.
I asked Jeff after that start against the Cardinals, I said, was that the game plan to be so aggressive with the fastball? He said, nope, it just became the game plan. It was really moving well for him. Oh my, look at that happen.
Late swing by Hamilton as he strikes out.
What was that? Fastball right down the middle. Yeah, he's leaning over, taking a good look at it, and then just right at the end goes, wait a minute. That may be the worst major league swing I've ever witnessed. Especially on a fastball right down the middle.
Now Joey Votto, and he foul tips for strike one. He hit third for the first 10 games, and Brian Price, his new manager, moved him up to second for the first time since 2008. So he's flip-flopped with Brandon Phillips in the order, and in 5 games in this spot, he's hit .471 with 3 homers and an on-base percentage of almost 600.
Well, OPS up over 1,000. That's elite. He's homered 3 of his last 4 ball games.
Last year, Votto was on base 316 times. That was a Cincinnati Reds club record.
And despite all that good work, he took some heat for not hitting the ball out of the ballpark more often. Some questioned his patient approach at the plate, thought he should have been more aggressive.
Samardzija with a 2-1, and it's lifted foul, and the wind will push that one into the upper deck. We'd like to welcome men and women serving our great country around the world, watching on the Armed Forces Network. A little matinee baseball here in Chicago. This is the only day game in baseball to kick off the weekend. Late swing by Votto just to hang in.
Got a piece of a vendor. Looks like he's okay. Tougher than $2 steak, that guy.
And he got him. Back-to-back Ks for Jeff.
They were trying to throw that come on back two-seam fastball, but they start inside and runs to the inside corner. He didn't get it there, but he got a swing and miss nonetheless from Votto. And a good start for Samardzija. 2 punch-outs to start the day.
Votto is a thinker, isn't he? He can just see the wheels spinning. Now Brandon Phillips pushed off the plate. Ball 1. Off to a solid start. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. The Reds really scuffled out of the gate. It's like Phillips tweaked something on that big swing. Or back, maybe.
Back, yep.
One and two. He's not feeling well, and I think Brian Price is going to bring one of his athletic trainers out to check on him. Reds already pretty banged up. 8 guys on the disabled list on opening day, particularly their pitching staff affected. Let's look at the Reds DL. Aroldis Chapman. The facial fractures, got hit in the face by a line drive during spring training. Might not be far off in terms of his return. Latos dealing with elbow and knee problems. Sean Marshall could be back very soon. Skip Schumacher, Trevor Bell, Jack Hanahan, Brett Marshall. It's a long list. Cubs injury report sponsored by Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, helping you move better so you could live better. Visit IBJI.com. So for now, Phillips will continue the at-bat.
It's almost impossible to do anything on a baseball field with an injured back.
Ground ball and a base hit.
One thing you're not likely to do is overswing, and that was just good work with the hands there by Phillips to deliver that 2-out single. No big swing here. He's playing a little pepper, and he finds a hole.
Here's Jade Bruce. Just 1 for his last 17, although he has taken 8 walks during this stretch. Comes in at 152. And strike one.
Bruce, fairly typical slugger. You know, he'll get into some funks where he'll strike out a bunch and really look lost at home plate. Then when he gets dialed in, look out.
Don't expect Phillips to run here. The back issue is Bruce fouls 0-2.
Like a willingness from Samardzija Castillo here, at least in the early going, to mix it up a little bit. We've seen more of a tendency to use a splitter and slider here early on than we saw that entire game against St. Louis.
Might that be pitching against the scouting report? In terms of the Reds,
Yeah.
advanced guy probably said, hey, all he threw was fastballs the last time.
Yeah. And I think, too, just, you know, I think last time it wasn't his intention to throw that many fastballs. I don't think he really felt, you know, got the feel for his split finger pitch. The previous start he didn't either. So I think now it's like, well, I'm going to see what I got working here in the early going. See if I can get the splitter involved a little bit more often, throw some sliders.
Bounced out in front of the plate, and Phillips had a good read on it and able to jog to second on a wild pitch.
Yeah, and I think there, again, I think he's just questioning himself with that split finger pitch right now. Doesn't have a lot of confidence in it, so the last thing he wants to do is hang it and make a mistake. So tendency when you're thinking that way is to bury it in the dirt.
We'll see how Phillips' back responds to this bitterly cold day. Tries to keep it loose there in scoring position. The 2-2 pitch. out of play. Going to be a lot of foul ball souvenirs today. Any pop-up that might even be a fair ball on the infield probably will end up out of play.
On a day like today, with a guy like Bruce in the batter's box, you're trying to pitch away from power. You don't want to hang him a breaking ball, and you don't want to make a mistake middle in. You feel like pretty comfortable if you can get the ball down and away, or even just away, even if it's up a little bit. Even for a guy as strong as Bruce, it would be tough to drive the ball out of here the other way.
Count still 2-2 on Bruce. Todd Frazier's on deck. Just underway. Samardzija struck out the first two batters this inning, then Phillips singled. Moved to second on a wild pitch.
If this were Sandlot ball, he'd be out. 4 fouls and you're out. That's how we used to play it.
You're playing Sandlot ball, you might have run out of baseballs.
Climbing over people's fences.
It's the 9th pitch of the at-bat.
High fastballs tend to get fouled off a lot. Jeff's been up in the zone a fair bit. Good two-seamer down, a pitch you may be able to get him to put in play.
Again, this time he got him. All the outs were strikeouts in the first. The Cubs coming to bat when we return. By Mazda and the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. With the Expos lineup, it'd be the Mazda lineup. Bonifacio, Lake, Rizzo at the top, Scherholtz, Castro, Sweeney in the middle, Castillo, Valbuena, and Samardzija at the bottom.
Now I'm in the mood for some pasta. It's the defense for the Reds this afternoon. Hamilton, world-class speed in center. Ludwig's your left fielder. Big arm on Jay Bruce in right. Reds have only committed 5 errors this year, tied for the best mark in the AL. Brandon Phillips over there at second, won his 4th Gold Glove last year. And Alfredo Simon, a big righty, 2 starts, really good, 1-1 with a 120 earned run average.
6'6", 265.
So 4-seam, 2-seam, and cut fastball, curveball, and a split. Fastball has been sitting right around 94, 95 miles an hour.
2-0 to Bonifacio, 19 out of 38 to start the year. His first 8 games, and now 1 for 21 since, but still a healthy batting average at .339. That's a strike on the inside. And the 2-1 offering is strike 2. Love to hear from you via email, LennonJD@Tribune.com. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter as well. That deflects off the glove of Simon, and Bonifacio's got an infield hit.
Two-seamer running away. Chops it hard off that ground in front of home plate. I don't know if somebody would have been able to make a play for Simon or not had he let this one go. Would have been a tough play with Bonifacio going down the line, so that's probably a knock either way.
That'll bring up Junior Lake. He's playing left. Cubs have only played 2 games this week. Scheduled off days Monday and Thursday. Rain out Tuesday. Shut out in a doubleheader on Wednesday in New York.
Yeah, what a bizarre week it has been. Knew heading out on that road trip that it was going to be tough. The Cardinals and the Yankees. The Cubs won the first one in St. Louis and dropped 4 in a row.
And they've now been shut out 4 times in their first 14 games. One strike on Lake.
Looking at the numbers on Simon earlier today, and over the course of his career, he's been pretty good at shutting down the running game. Pretty quick to home plate.
New wrinkle with our fan cam this year. We are asking Cub fans to tweet us your Cubs selfies. Hashtag WGN Cubs. The 0-2 pitch.
When did selfie become a widely accepted term? Last year or 2?
I would say so, yes. Yeah. Used to be you take a picture of yourself in the mirror. Now with most phones, just hit the button and flip the camera around. Inside, did he get him? Lake tried to sell it, but Doug Eddings is not buying.
Would that be a T in the NBA for flopping? Maybe it did graze his back arm.
And here comes Ricky Renteria.
Yeah, it grazed him.
Boy, the thing with hit by pitches in terms of replay is the original call.
Right, so and then now the question is, so if you're sitting down there and you're looking at the video in the clubhouse,
you're saying, I think it did.
But do we want to, risk our challenge here and maybe have the call go against us? Got the up down maybe.
That's perfect. Brandon Hyde just kind of giving him
yeah. He's like maybe, but let's not use the challenge.
Right. So in other words, as we've discussed, it doesn't come down to what your best guess is. It's what the original call was, and then clear and convincing evidence to the contrary to overturn. Bonifacio runs and Lake fouls.
So, when you're making that decision to challenge or not, one, it's how sure you are that the call is going to be overturned in your favor. And then 2, how critical a call is, what stage of the game, the runners and out situations, late in the game in a tight game, even if you're not sure, you might be more inclined to let's go ahead and challenge and hope we can get it overturned.
And based on not even 3 weeks of anecdotal evidence, they would not have overturned it. I'm pretty
I think
clear
I'm
and convinced that they would not have overturned even if it did hit him.
I think, if I were watching that, it was my ruling to make. I'd say, I think it got him, but I'm not sure. Call stands. Uh-oh.
So Bonifacio with a little flinch towards second, and they got him.
I think that's the 3rd time he's been picked off first base. There was one other occasion in Pittsburgh where they had him picked, but the first baseman dropped the ball. And at the time I said, it's if you're a base stealer, you got to have a sense of daring. Maybe you got to put yourself in harm's way over there at first base, but a little too frequently for Emilio this early in the year to have been picked off 3 times already.
And that is the first out of the inning. Now 2-2 to Lake.
A lot of that is because the big fella is quick to home plate, so he probably felt like, man, I got to get a real good jump here to have a chance to steal this bag.
Swung on and missed, so the Cubs were millimeters away from first and second, nobody out. And just a couple minutes later, 2 outs, nobody on.
Cut fastball has become a very important pitch for Simon.
Signed with the Phillies back in '99. Debuted with the Orioles in '08. Phillies, Giants, Rangers, minor league systems before he got a crack at the big leagues with Baltimore. Swing and a miss, and quickly 0-2 on Anthony Rizzo. And it was a struggle for Simon early on. His Orioles years, he had a 5.18 ERA, mostly as a reliever. He's been a lot better with the Reds. On the ground to Phillips. He likes to go down to a knee on a routine play. And the inning is over. Infield hit, no runs, scoreless after 1. no runs as we get into the second inning. Samardzija and Simon on the mound today. Tony Cingrani, a left-hander, against Edwin Jackson tomorrow, and then Mike Leake and Carlos Villanueva on Sunday. That game for you on Sunday on WCIU.
Cubs miss Johnny Cueto, who's really pitched well so far this year. Only 1-2, but he's got a .150 ERA through 4 starts. He's been really good in this ballpark too, as has this man here, Todd Frazier. The last 2 years he's hit .370 here at Wrigley.
He has started every game this year for the Reds. Low on base, but hitting the ball out of the ballpark here early. A wind in the 1-1. It's a strike called, 1-2.
Frazier 6 out of 16 with a couple of long balls off Samardzija. He hit a bomb off of him last year in Cincinnati.
That was the one on top of the boat in center, right? It was a cold night, I recall, in Cincinnati.
It was a dark and stormy night. A little something extra there. Samardzija gets to 95 with that heater. That's the one. You're talking about pitching away from power. 95 outside corner at the knees.
No ball behind the bag. It's Luis Valbuena.
Get your tickets to the party of the century all season long. This homestand, the Cubs celebrate the Tens decade with music, food, and giveaways that reflect that era. For more information about the Tens, visit WrigleyField100.com. Reds here for 3, then 4 with the D-backs, including the highly anticipated birthday game. That's on Wednesday. Get your tickets today at Cubs.com.
Now the left fielder, veteran Ryan Ludwig. Ouch, ouch, ouch. The walking wounded. Phillips tweaked his back in the first, and now Ludwig bounced one what appeared to be right off the top of his left foot.
It's going to take a little time to let that pain dissipate. Getting no love from the trainer or the manager. Just going to walk it off. Guys in the Cubs dugout, no doubt, are barking at him.
And Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Rick Renteria, go to WGNTV.com right now. Click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner and get all the up-to-the-minute stats and info. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more. Ludwig basically has been a left fielder with the Reds. With previous teams had played a lot of right field, and unlike a lot of visiting players, really plays this ballpark well defensively. And he rips one into left for a base hit. So I guess the theme so far, Reds batter gets hurt in the box and the result is a hit.
Yeah, because when you're in pain, it narrows the focus. You concentrate better. My theory, sticking to it, trying to go way up the ladder with a fastball. And I think if they get just a little bit higher, maybe you get the pop up or the swing through. But Ludwig able to get on top of that one and line it to left.
Now the catcher, Devin Mesoraco, started the year on the disabled list with a strained oblique. He missed 6 games. But in 6 games in his return, hitting .500. Now the Undisputed starter after Ryan Hanigan was traded to Tampa Bay over the winter.
Yeah, pretty lofty numbers here in the early going for Mesoraco. Kind of wore that label, catcher of the future, for the Reds for about 3 years. I think what happened was the Reds pitchers really preferred throwing to Hanigan. It was a tremendous defensive catcher. So they split playing time, and now with Hanigan being gone, it's opened up the door for Mesoraco to really claim the spot.
Switch hitting Brian Pena now the backup. One ball, one strike. Short lead by Ludwig. And inside, make it 2-1.
Part of Jeff's MO this year has been to try to pitch to contact a little bit more. You wouldn't know it looking at that first inning where he punched out 3, but first start against the Pirates he struck out 3. Last time out he struck out 4. He's trying to do quicker outs, pitch to more contact. That will allow him to pitch deeper into games. So far he's worked 7 innings in each of his 3 starts.
Ready for a 2-2. Lifted foul, first base side.
It's going to be tough to be efficient today with all these foul balls. A lot of deep counts. Reds club 3rd in the National League in runs scored last year. Plenty of power. They led the world in walks, primarily Votto and Chu, and Chu is no longer part of this ball club.
Glad you mentioned that. So last year the Reds led the National League in walks for the first time since 1979. Did you know, Jim DeShays, that the Reds led the National League in walks 6 times that decade?
In the 70s.
In the 1970s.
The big red machine era. Morgan walked a ton.
Another 2-2 and a ground ball backhanded by Castro. They get 1. Can't get 2. That would have been a turn.
Had the right guy running. Mesoraco, the backstop, not particularly speedy, but a pretty play, and almost double play. Castro unloads in a hurry, and that gives Bonifacio a fighting chance to get him, but Mesoraco able to beat it there at first.
Zach Cozart, base hit left field. Just his 6th hit in his 47th at bat. And it will get the pitcher Simon to the plate here with 2 outs. Simon has not done this very much in his career. Only 15 career at bats.
Given his resume as a hitter and the way the wind's blowing, the outfield really shortens up.
Back to Samardzija on the ground, and that'll end the inning. 2 hits for Cincy, no runs. Inning and a half in the books. 0-0. Well, a Wrigley 100 moment. Almost on this date, April 17th, 1976. Mike Schmidt had a day. He had a lot of good days here at Wrigley Field. Those are the first 3 homers of the ball game, and it wasn't finished just yet.
There is a deep fly to left center. It is in there. A deep line fly to left center, and so now Mike Schmidt has hit his 4th consecutive home run.
That and more on our WGN baseball blog, brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent. Serving the area for 36 years to join the nation. Contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Two quick ones on Nate Scherholz. I want to wish the AA Tennessee Smokies the best of luck tonight. I guess they are watching our game on the big screen during batting practice right now. As they play the Jackson Generals tonight. Got a nice text from our good buddy Mick Gillespie. And Scherholz flies out.
I'm guessing it's a little warmer there.
Tennessee, yeah, I would think. Here comes Starlin Castro. Has done a lot of his damage early on. Here at Wrigley, the first homestand, he went 12 out of 25.
Whoa, look out. Fire in the hole. Like Simon just tried to overthrow that fastball. Regardless of his intent, that gets your attention. And then he paints the outside corner, or at least tries to. So far, so good here at Wrigley this year for Starlin Castro. The road, not so much.
Both his home runs coming in one game. Lifted high in the air. Deep left, back on the track is Ludwig. Might have been a home run last week, but not today.
Yeah, another day, it might be on the street.
Well, he really got a hold of that.
Yeah, but it's an out. But again, this has been a positive development. Much more aggressive, looking to pull and drive the ball. Well, he knows he didn't get it. He just didn't quite square it up, but we've seen a lot more aggressive swings from Castro here this year.
That's one of the things about this ballpark. We've seen the old footage of Kenny Holtzman's no-hitter, Bert Hooton, a couple of what appeared to be home run balls to left, and the wind doing exactly what it's doing today, and the ball staying in. Oh, 0-2 to Ryan Sweeney. He's playing center. He hits a ground ball that deflects off the glove of Simon, picks it up, tags him, and the Cubs go down quietly 1-2-3 in the second.
great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
And we grabbed one of our buds, our executive producer, Bob Forwald, in the booth with us to talk about Wrigley 100, a century celebration, which will premiere Sunday night at 7 right here on WGN as Billy Hamilton leads off the Reds' third. Bob, we saw a clip from the special, and I guess timely today, with the wind, which we spend a lot of time talking about on our broadcast every single day here.
And we spend a lot of time talking about it in the show. It's got its own segment. The wind is, makes Wrigley two different parks, and everybody that we talk to has a different opinion on whether they like or hate the wind. And it's no surprise that somebody like Greg Maddux said, hey, it is what it is. I'm going to use what I've got each day. If it's blowing out, I'm going to throw it in and see how hard they can, or if it's blowing in, I'm going to throw it and see how hard they can hit it. If it's blowing out, I'm going to use it against them.
And JD talked about that wind.
Yeah, that's
off the end of the bat, and Scherholtz will make the catch.
That's what everybody does. They check the wind, whether you're home player or visiting player. You come out to the ballpark, you look at those flags, and you either celebrate the fact that it's blowing out if you're a hitter, or if you're a pitcher, you think, uh-oh, this could be a long day.
The other thing you do when you come in here is you look at the park, and we're showing some of the scenes there. It's such a beautiful place. It's changed over the years, but much more of it is the same probably than is different. And it's such a tie to baseball. I think John Thorne was pointing out that when the park opened up, Civil War veterans were probably coming here. It really ties us to the very beginning of baseball. And Babe Ruth played here, and so did Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. And you have Ernie and Billy and Fergie, these living legends that we get the chance to talk to and sharing their memories. We could have done 10 hours very easily and fought to keep it to 2, but we did manage to keep in JD giving up some home runs in a Phillies uniform.
Oh, you got to do that.
Hey, that was my very last major league start.
Ground ball surrounded by Castro, and the stretch by Rizzo. They get Joey Votto. We had Mike Schmidt, 4-homer game. He hit, I think, 50 career homers here. So it's not just, Cub greats who love this ballpark. Pretty much everyone who ever played here.
There's a sense of reverence about it. People were delighted to tell us their Wrigley Field memories. It's a special place. There's no place like it. Everybody remembers, whether they were a player or a kid, coming up the stairs and just seeing how green it is and sharing those things with us as well. And there's been so many wacky moments here too that we tried to show, and great moments with the clinchers and some of the things. And at the end of the show, we try and take a look at some of the great games with Rhino and Babe Ruth. Don Cardwell's no-hitter, the guy shows up, he's traded 2 days before, he doesn't even know his teammates' names, and they're jumping all over him at the end. We found a lot of great black and white vintage footage so you could see what the game looked like in the 30s. You see the fans all in their white shirts and ties and hats, and that's really fun as well. So it's all part of a great week. The show's going to be on Sunday. WGN America, it'll be on a week from Saturday the 26th. And we don't want to lose focus that on April 23rd, that Wednesday, we're going to have the throwback game, and we're going to see the Cubs in Chi-Fed uniforms and the Diamondbacks in Kansas City Packer uniforms, and really celebrate that actual 100th birthday.
And Joe Tinker played for the Whales on the Federal League, and honoring the late Hall of Famer today here at the ballpark. And I also want to mention, and you saw it in some of the clips, there's some footage that I've never seen before that'll be included in the special Sunday night. A lot of great old photos as well. Sunday night, WGN, 7 o'clock Central Time. Bob, thanks for the time. We can't wait to see it.
Thanks, Len.
100th birthday this coming Wednesday, April 23rd at 1:20. There are limited tickets available. The Chi-Feds will duel it out against the Kansas City Packers, and they will don their 1914 Federal League unis as part of the birthday celebration. How about this? The first 30,000 fans will receive a replica Chicago Federals jersey. How about that?
Slick.
In addition, the first 10,000 will get a birthday cupcake, compliments of Jewel Osco. There'll be a special pregame celebration. Many former Cub greats will be here, so get here early. Tickets are still available. Cubs.com is your place. Ramon Santiago in for Brandon Phillips, who struck out to end the top of the third. We mentioned he had sort of back issue in his first inning at bat.
You could tell with that last swing there was a pretty good chance that he was not going to stay in the ball game.
Popped up by Castillo. Let's see where it ends up. In front of home plate, Mesoraco makes a catch. Now, this is a pretty authentic looking Chi-Feds jersey. I guess the one thing we should note, it's not made out of wool. It's number one, so you can wear it in the summer. And I don't think they had this on it. It's the Wrigley Field 100th anniversary logo.
Had the Wrigley Field 1. Wrigley Field 1 year.
Weekman Park 1.
Weekman Park.
In 1914.
Yeah. Later became the Whales. They're called the Federals because they were in the Federal League and they were just distinguishing them from the Cubs and the White Sox. We're the Chicago of the Federal League.
So would you call it a button-down jersey because there are 4 buttons, but it doesn't go all the way down? It's kind of the look of the day 100 years ago. Now Buena bounces out to the pitcher. 2 outs.
Well, things not going too well here for the home club after being shut out in both ends of a doubleheader against the Yankees. Just 1 base runner so far today. That was Bonifacio, who singled off the pitcher's glove and then was picked off. So Simon, if he gets Samardzija here, will have faced the minimum through 3.
We will be on the air at 12:30 for our extensive pregame coverage on Wednesday here on WGN.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of folks on hand. Joe Scarborough bringing a show out here Wednesday morning. Morning Joe.
Yeah, a lot of national attention, and great the Diamondbacks agreed to wear the Federal League unis as well.
Diamondbacks might be looking for some karma. They might be willing to wear just about anything right now. High expectations internally, at least for that club out there in the desert, and they're 4-14. They've lost 6 in a row.
Worst start in franchise history. They'll be at the Dodgers this weekend. Well, their starting pitching in particular has been subpar. Two on Samardzija. Make it 2-3 as he strikes him out. Scoreless at the end of 3.
And we are scoreless. Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF.
No scores. We start the fourth. Strike called on Jay Bruce. Don't let his numbers fool you here early. Last 2 years, leading all National League hitters with over 200 RBIs. And last year led all Major League right fielders in a lot of the power categories: home runs, doubles, extra base hits, RBIs.
Still a young player, 255. You could pencil him in 25 to 35 bombs a year.
And he swings and misses at a splitter. And it's back to the dugout empty-handed. 5 Ks for Jeff.
Second time he got Bruce. Last time it was after a lengthy at-bat. Bruce fouled off a lot of tough pitches, hung in there. This time Jeff makes quick work of him. A good splitter sliding off the outside corner. That's him way out in front.
Could not hold up. Oh, he's ahead 1-2. Rizzo makes a catch, and let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Welcome back to Wrigley Field on a cold but sunny afternoon. Cubs and Reds opening a weekend set.
Samardzija much more the technician here this afternoon than he was last time out. Last time, as we mentioned, just essentially one fastball after another. Here really mixing things up.
Breaking ball, strike. Nice touch by the umpires. WB, that patch on the right sleeve, honoring the memory of Wally Bell, who passed away last October. Wally was a really good umpire and by all accounts a terrific guy.
Yeah, too young, just 48 years of age.
Lined and caught by Valbuena. That'll end the inning. Still waiting for the first run as we head to the bottom of the fourth.
Iraqi freedom and has recently returned from a deployment in support of the Republic of Georgia. The Chicago Cubs would like to take this moment to thank Sergeant Nathan Dickrell, along with all of our servicemen and women, for their selfless dedication, courage, and sacrifice in protecting our freedom and defense.
Great to see Sergeant Nathan Dickrell here at the ballpark. Military recognition, got a great hand as Bonifacio leads off for the Cubs. He has their only hit, although he was picked off after that hit in the first inning. Strike called, 0-2. Cubs have not scored a run in their last 21 innings. Simon's 0-2 breaking ball is slashed into right, but it's caught by Jay Bruce. Well, we're going to have a little fun this year, celebrating 100 years of Wrigley Field. We're calling this Focus on Wrigley. So we're going to give you a real close-up shot of something in the ballpark, and you can guess what it is. So tweet us at Len and JD. Give us your best guess. Any thoughts?
Looked like a B.
Could it be an R?
If I get it right, do I win a tote bag or something?
Sure, I've got a couple in the basement. You know what? I'll give you a Wrigley Field 100 stocking cap with a big fuzzy thing on top.
Joe Rios hooked me up.
Oh, you already have one.
I already have one. And I promised in the open that there were runs, there were hits in this hat. So far, it has not delivered.
Still fairly early.
I'm not going to give up on it.
Lake hits a ground ball to Cozart, the shortstop, off balance throw, and he gets him.
Every Sunday is Kid Sunday here at Wrigley Field. This Sunday, 1:20, Cubs and the Reds in the finale of this 3-game set. First 5,000 kids 13 and under will receive a Cubs die-cast train engine. This is the first of 10 Cubs retro toy giveaways. After the ball game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger will have the opportunity to run the bases. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
We have a lot of good guesses. It's Anthony Rizzo, ball one.
Do you know the answer?
I do. Although, you know what? I think in the future, we're having a production meeting on the air. I kind of saw what it was, then they focused in on it. I think we should probably be out of the loop, so we can guess too. There's a base hit for Rizzo. One guess, the Ernie Banks statue outside the ballpark. Somebody also asked, it's not that B, is that a tattoo on the back of JD's head?
I'm not taking my cap off to show you. I'll just go with no, it's not.
Oh, it's not. I was going to say could be. Snaps a string of 10 straight batters retired by Simon.
Anthony Rizzo's been very consistent here in the early going. 333 coming in. He's one good at bat after another.
Brian Gentry, it's the B and Cubs.com behind home plate. Okay. Getting a lot of Ernie Banks statue. Looks like the B on the Ernie statue. That is going to land foul. Hit the sidewall, in fact.
Well, good contact in this inning. Bonifacio lined out to get things started. Rizzo with a solid base hit. Now Shearholt's able to hit that one with authority. So second time around, Cub hitters maybe getting a little more clued in as to what they're going to do with Simon here this afternoon.
The 2-1. It's a strike as Shearholtz went around. There's the Ernie statue.
Let's take another look at that at our puzzle.
Got another tweet. I'll be disappointed if focus on Wrigley object is in a different part of a urinal trough. No, it's not part of a urinal trough here at Wrigley. Bounce foul. Oh, it's Harry Carey's glasses. Interesting guess. More than one fan has guessed that. It's snagged there by Mesoraco. Well, our fans are thinking. That's good. Thinking out of the box. Or above the box. Rizzo will go here on the 3-2. Here it comes. And on a hop, Santiago will throw to Votto in time to end the inning. So you tweet us today. No score. Ton of response on what that is, and we got a few correct answers. Well, the aisle seats. We got a lot of wrong answers that were much more amusing than the correct ones. Some we can air. So yeah, we'll have fun with that this season.
And we can maybe we'll play a little Pictionary.
Absolutely. Ground ball, base hit. Mesoraco stays hot, even on a cold day.
One out of two today, maintains that 500 average. Gone deep 3 times as well. Cozart follows him here, singled last time up. He'd been really scuffling. See if Price is inclined to play a little hit and run here down near the bottom of his order. Straight steal, he got a huge jump.
He did, and there are a couple of things you're going to notice about this Reds team that are different from the Dusty Baker years. Brian Price says he wants his team to run more, and they're going to run more just because of Billy Hamilton, but he was talking about everybody in their lineup.
Yeah,
and in this case, even the catcher, they're also shift a little more defensively.
I believe it's green light for everybody. Everybody's got the green light unless they get a hold sign. Samardzija is pretty quick to home plate, so he may be throwing up a few more hold signs today than he normally would, but we're going to be a little bit more aggressive on the bases, and that was a great indication there. We're talking about you got to put yourself in harm's way sometimes as a base stealer. Mesoraco, not a speedy guy, so you got to get a great jump. He took liberties. He left well before Samardzija's first move to home plate.
This is a big batter for Samardzija because the pitcher is on deck. So if he can get Cozart, and ideally without Mesoraco advancing, changes the inning quite a bit. Blocked by Castillo.
Yeah, and if you're Brian Price, you don't want Cozart at any point in this at bat thinking about just guiding the ball to the right side, because you got the pitcher next and then Billy Hamilton to follow. So you're counting on Cozart giving you probably the best chance of the 3 to drive in a run here.
Swing and a miss. So Samardzija gets Cozart.
Six strikeouts, all swinging. It's a splitter diving down and in.
Reference the Twins in our leadoff man first to third segment. Swept the Blue Jays yesterday in Minneapolis. The coldest day ever for an outdoor game for the Minnesota Twins. It was 31 degrees at game time.
Wow. Hard to believe that people could pine for the Metrodome, but there probably were a few yesterday in that ballpark.
I'm just surprised at the old Met. They never had a 28-degree day.
Yeah.
A swinging bunt as Castillo will throw to first. Mesoraco's at third. There are 2 outs.
Normally 2 outs and a man on third base, you don't think about a bunt, but with Hamilton, it's always a possibility. So you have to stay pinched in at the corners.
It might be more of a possibility considering how it's gone for him here early on. Drives that ball out into left center. Diving attempt. Lake can't get it. Hamilton racing into second with a double. And the Reds have a 1-0 lead.
Trying to crowd him with a fastball, and it floats back out over the plate a little bit. It was up in the zone. He doesn't hit it very hard at all. And able just to dump it in there beyond the reach of Junior Lake. Time now for our speed replay, brought to you by Xfinity. And the speed replay might be Billy Hamilton all weekend long. That guy can really fly. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. A little redemption for the speedy Hamilton. Looked so bad in his first AB with that ugly swing, but the Reds on the board because of his base hit, and the stolen base by Mesoraco comes around.
This is Samardzij's 4th start. He went 7 innings in each of his first 3 starts, and when he left the game, his teammates had given him a combined total of 3 runs of support. He knows the margin for error has not been very big.
He and Travis Wood have combined for a 2.07 ERA through 6 starts, and they don't have a win between them.
What did you call them? Jeff This
with Marja. Yeah.
Travis Sam Wood.
They've punched out more than a batter per inning. They've only walked 9 in 39 innings of work. Votto very patient, very disciplined. In an RBI situation, he does not go out of the zone.
A word from the Reds clubhouse. Brandon Phillips back spasms, taken out for precautionary reasons.
So you got Ramon Santiago on deck here, and you got a base open. And you hate to think in those terms as a pitcher this early in the ball game. It's only the 5th inning, but the way the Cubs have struggled to score runs, if you're Jeff Samardzija, that's exactly what you're thinking. I'm not going to give in to this guy and risk putting us in a 2-run hole. Votto was convinced that they weren't going to throw him a strike. That pitch is being delivered. He's going to start trotting down to first base. I'm a little surprised how aggressive they were with that 3-1 fastball.
The 3-2, however, bounces in front of the plate, ball 4. Yeah, Votto has very explicitly stated the following: avoiding outs is better than driving in runs. That particular topic has been a big one on the sports talk shows in Cincinnati throughout his career. Hamilton takes off for third. Cubs don't worry about it. 18th of his career, 5th so far this season. And by the way, as a hitting philosophy, Joey Votto is correct, because on-base skills do trump slugging. We can debate it by how much, but if you avoid that third out, that's ultimately the name of the game and will lead to run scoring. Scherholtz over near the line to end the inning. Billy Hamilton with the RBI double gives the Reds the lead.
Bottom of the fifth. Stay tuned for the seventh inning stretch, brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds, and we'll have 3 generations of Tinkers singing the stretch here this afternoon. Hall of Famer, former Cub great Joe Tinker, styling there in black and white. So it'll be Joe's grandson, along with some great and great grandsons of Joe Tinker here to sing this afternoon. Should be fun. Cubs have not been able to solve Alfredo Simon to this point. Just a couple of base hits. Remember, this is coming on the heels of that doubleheader, double shutout at the hands of the Yankees on Wednesday.
Lifted in the air on the 2-0. Santiago makes a grab. Bring up Ryan Sweeney. Bounce to the pitcher in the second. Now the other thing, the Cubs haven't taken a walk today. Not the easiest day to hit. Have not worked many 3-ball counts. Well, now it's 2-0 for the second straight batter to begin this inning. Simon coming back. Sinker for a strike. To second, only 2 outs.
Hey, you're talking about the debate between on base and driving in runs and how you value hitters. I think there's a better correlation, and you pointed out, on base versus slugging. RBI so much is a function of where you bat in the batting order and who's on your club. And last year, Phillips and Bruce with all those RBI opportunities because of the on-base skills of Chu and Votto in front of them.
Well, and that's why Votto hitting second makes a lot of sense, because it kind of takes him out of the quote RBI spot and really exploits for them in the best way possible his ability to reach base.
And Billy Hamilton's getting on ahead of him. He's going to see a lot of fastballs, theoretically.
I'm not saying I would lead him off, but you could make that case by just simply saying he has the best on-base percentage of really any player in the league. He's been the best on-base guy in the last half decade. Get him as many chances as possible to get on base.
Yeah, and don't the sabermeticians, some of the analysts that really break down the numbers, they argue that your best hitter should be in the 2-hole.
Three-ball count, and Castillo took the 4th pitch for a strike. Let's see what he gets here. It's a fastball, pretty straight one, and it's hammered deep left center, and just missed a home run. And he slides in with a double. He kept it under the wind, and he missed a home run by maybe a couple of feet, just below the basket.
Not many balls squared up today, but this one certainly was a 3-1 fastball. Great swing. You see the high finish by Wellington. This doesn't get it airborne enough to get it above that basket. Cubs have their first runner in scoring position this afternoon.
They will intentionally walk Valbuena with the pitcher Samardzija on deck. This will be the first walk given up by Simon. This is the current run expectancy situation.
Well, again, and this is, I think a lot of managers would say, well, it's a little early in the game to be walking the 8-hole hitter to get to the pitcher in a one-run game. But the way the ballpark is playing today, that's one-run lead is huge right now.
Reds pitchers have been pretty stingy in this spot. Cubs hitters have been right around league average. But it's still early. On a hot Cozart, and he'll get it to Santiago at second. They force Valbuena, and the Cubs have been shut out today through 5, trailing 1-0. Coming schedule. The Reds are here the rest of the weekend. All matinee action, including Sunday on the U at 1 o'clock for the leadoff man. And then we'll have Wrigley 100, a century celebration. Sunday night at 7 o'clock right here on WGN. Ford, go further in any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Jay Bruce looks at a strike. One and one.
Strikeout swinging. Fooled him with a split finger pitch last time. I believe that's what he got him with the first time around as well.
Line drive into the corner and right. It'll send Bruce at least to second, and he's going to break it down. That's a double.
Those left-handed sluggers like the ball in and down a little bit. Get that one in on his hands, couldn't quite get it there. That ball just dies out there. Look at all the funky spin it's got. Sure holds a while to come up with it, but Bruce willing to drop anchor and settle in there with a leadoff double.
Frazier shows bunt and looks at a fastball low. Pirates blasted the Brewers last night. Andrew McCutchen with his first homer of the season. an 11-2 win. Brewers have now dropped 3 out of 4 after winning 9 straight. Tonight, Kyle Loesch against Charlie Morton. See the Brewers next weekend at Miller Park.
(11-5) Brewers. Lost last night was their first road loss.
1-2. How about Aaron Harang's start?
Pitch another good one
for Atlanta. 2-1 with an 0.96. He pitches at the Mets tonight. Three starts, he's gone at least 6 innings. Each of those outings.
Signed him late. They signed Erwin Santana after losing a couple key pieces of their starting rotation. And Braves, a lot of folks thought that their pitching would collapse. That's not been the case. They've been really, really good. 15 games into the season.
So Aaron Harang starting for the Braves tonight. Chris Young pitches for the Mariners in Miami. This is 2006.
Yeah.
Still hanging around.
Yep. A big part of it with this Reds club, of course. Arroyo at the top of the rotation.
Yeah, for a long time. Frazier strikes out.
The Cubs encourage the use of public transportation to get to and from Wrigley Field. You can ride your bike. There's a bike check located near the corner of Clark and Waveland. And if you drive, the Cubs provide free parking. That's free parking and shuttle services on night and weekend games from 3900 North Rockwell. Visit Cubs.com for details. Very important run out there at second base. So Samardzija wants to have a chat with Wellington Castillo to make sure they're on the same page. Their game plan against Ryan Ludwig here. Reds inclined to run a little bit more this year. Jay Bruce might be worth a second look out there at second base. Don't let him get too big of a jump on you. Catcher's interference. There's been a rash of that this year.
We've seen it twice here this week.
Yeah, once earlier.
I think it was John Baker. His glove was hit by a Jacoby Ellsbury swing in New York. The play resulted in a run, and Joe Girardi took the result of the play instead. But obviously, Brian Price is not going to take a foul ball instead of a free base for Ludwig. So Castillo will be charged with an error.
And no at bat, charged to Ludwig. And playing the Yankee game, Ellsbury ended up hitting a ground ball back to the mound. And was thrown out to first base as the run came home from third base. So they could have put the runner back at third, put Ellsbury at first. Joe Girardi said, no, I'll take the run and accept the out at first.
Chris Bosio out to the mound to talk some strategy here as Mesoraco will dig in. First and second, 1 out.
The same rule applies on a balk. Hitters are instructed if the umpire yells balk and the pitcher throws the ball, take a whack at it. It's a free swing.
Slider in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Mentioned earlier, the Reds closer Aroldis Chapman has been cleared to throw live BP. Although there probably won't be many volunteers to face him. Somebody will be forced to ultimately. But that is probably the last guy in the world anybody wants to face in terms of live batting practice.
Especially when they go into simulated game mode and he's really turning it loose.
A nasty incident during spring training. It's hard to look at. That was March 19th. Salvador Perez, Kansas City catcher, hit that ball. The pitch was at 99 miles an hour. He had surgery to insert a stabilizing metal plate on the bone that was hit the following day. Oof.
Yeah, so the question is, where is he mentally when he returns to a major league mound? Can he push that far enough into the back of his mind where it doesn't affect his delivery?
3-1 to Mesoraco, up and in, and all of a sudden the Reds have the bases loaded. On a double, a catcher's interference and a walk.
Yeah, Mesoraco down near the bottom of the Reds batting order, but he's batting .500. He's been smoking hot of late, so the intention there was to be a little cautious with him. Now you got Cozart and the pitcher due up.
Big spot here for Samardzija in this game, trailing already 1-0. And they turn 2-5-4. And the ball gets away from Rizzo, and they're going to get another run. So Bruce in, Ludwig scores on the bad throw by Bonifacio, and it's 3-0. And the what if question, which we can look at, is would they have had him at first with a good throw? I think they would have had a shot.
Would have been close. The feed from Valbuena wasn't perfect. Bonifacio has to reach back a little further than he would prefer to get that ball. That may have upset the footwork a little bit on that throw to first. Tough read for the third baseman. Normally on a ball like that, yeah, that's your thinking. Let's go around the horn, get the double play, and get out of Dodge. It's 2 long throws. If he had to do it all over again, would he come home? Maybe.
Loop toward right. Scherholtz will make the waist-high grab, and the inning will end. But the Reds tack on a couple and now lead 3-0.
Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Cubs.com for details.
Cubs down 3-0. Alfredo Simon hasn't had to work out of too many jams today.
No, not a lot of traffic. The Cubs have only had the leadoff man reach once. That was Bonifacio leading off the bottom of the first.
Haven't had a runner past second, in fact. And those were unearned runs. Top of the inning, couple of Cubs errors. One by Bonifacio, takes ball one outside. Two balls and no strikes. Shout out to the great Eddie Olczyk watching us today. WGN America from St. Louis.
Boys worked overtime last night. They worked hard.
Didn't get much sleep last night, probably. Hawks will play game 2 tomorrow. Called strike.
See, now hockey, they can review goals, correct?
They can.
Now, if they could have reviewed that, should have been
delay
penalty.
Of game should have been a two-man advantage.
Yeah.
Yes. As Bonifacio draws the leadoff walk.
Oh, there's the leadoff base runner. Has there been any talk in hockey about implementing
Yeah, because there was a goal earlier this year that actually the puck went off the net behind the glass, or above the glass, and it bounced off the goalie's back and into the net, but it was not reviewable. So I think we're getting to the point where in all 4 major sports you should be able to review just about everything. That's where we are in baseball now. Strike one on Junior Lake.
Maybe we won't even need on-field, on-ice, on-court officials. Just a big video room and big voice overhead like the Wizard of Oz, just shouting down directives. Hey, you! Get in the box. 2 minutes for delay of game. Bonifacio 7 out of 8. And trying to steal this year. He has been picked off 3 times now.
So I'm going to ask you a question you can't answer, but I would appreciate it if you would attempt to.
All right.
Already putting you behind the 8 ball. Since Wednesday, has it been more about the pitchers the Cubs have faced or about what they've done? Or probably a combo of both.
Yeah, combo plus the the conditions. It's cold, not particularly hitter friendly. Tanaka was so good in the first game of that doubleheader in New York. And yet I don't think it was as sharp. And then you kind of get into this collective funk, right? When you've been shut out a couple times and
hitting
you've also
is
had
contagious or lack
well,
thereof.
you've had 3 days off of 4. You played a doubleheader, and you got nothing going at all in that doubleheader. So you got a lot of guys who are kind of scuffling a little bit right now, not trotting up to home plate with a real reservoir of confidence as they step into these at bats, starting to press a little bit, maybe not trusting their swings. You alluded to it earlier, the fact that this club, the makeup of this team, they don't have a lot of patient hitters that work walks. So if you're not hitting the ball out of the ballpark, you're not finding a bunch of holes, it's hard to put runs on the board.
Brent Torria's tried a lot of different combinations.
Well, and then it falls to Rick to think, well, okay, so do I become a little bit more aggressive or I don't know if aggressive is the right term, but try more plays, try to play a little hit and run, start some base runners. And that's the rub, because there's that philosophy, but there's also, man, we have so few base runners. I want to be really careful whether they're a commodity right now. I don't want to put too many guys at risk of being thrown out on the bases.
Looked like Lake really wanted to poke that elbow out toward the ball, but then I think thought better of it.
After the leadoff walk, just the way he fell off that pitch, I think the conversation is starting in the Reds dugout. Hey, should we get somebody up here if this guy reaches?
Got him on a curve.
Conversation will be delayed. Mentioned at the outset that Doug Eddings, the home plate umpire, is known for having a big zone. I haven't really noticed it a lot today. And this curveball actually, according to our Xfinity pitch tracks, hugs that inside corner. Rizzo hit a bunch of home runs early last year. He had 10 in April. Eight, maybe, something like that. At this point, he'd only hit 3. He was hitting $174.
The last couple of innings, Simon has had several 2-0, 3-1 counts. Cubs have not made him pay.
Yeah, that's when he threw that one up and in on Lake, that was the one that kind of got my attention, that if I were in that dugout, I would start to think, well, maybe he's starting to lose it a little bit.
Brian Price, I don't know if we call it a trend, but we've seen more former pitchers and pitching coaches as managers here the last few years. Now, he never did pitch at the big league level. A left-hander who pitched in the minors. His career was cut short because of elbow surgery, but a long-time major league pitching coach, and has long been considered one of the best.
Real smart guy, Cal Berkeley. There's Sam McCure. The right-hander starting to get loose.
3-1 on Rizzo. Three and two. Isn't even thinking about
it's interesting.
swinging.
A big slugger like Rizzo taking all the way there on 3-1.
Backhanded play, nicely done by Santiago. You feel like you lose something no matter who plays second when Brandon Phillips leaves the game, but that was a really nice play. They had the shift on, so that was not really hit to anybody, and Cozart almost made that play from short. Bonifacio now at second. Here's Scherholtz with 2 outs.
Jonathan Broxton is now the closer for the Reds. Just been activated a few days back. Starters have been much better for Cincinnati than the bullpen has. Their scuffles and Chapman still out of commission. It's a bullpen you can get to if you keep it close.
Another 2-0 count on a Cub batter. There it is. Chopper foul. Nice note from Rick Sutcliffe, former Cub Cy Young Award winner, watching us today as well. A lot of former Cubs in attendance next Wednesday, the official 100th anniversary of the first ever game here in this ballpark. Sut remembers 1984 very well. Ground ball hit right to Cozart. Look at that shift, and the inning comes to an end. The Cubs have not scored now in their last 24 innings. And Cubs fan cam. New one by the Black Keys, Fever. Tweet us your Cubs selfies at hashtag WGN Cubs, and we may use them in our fan cam. Top of the 7th. The 0-1 to Billy Hamilton, a swing and a miss on a split. The grandson of Joe Tinker, Jay, along with some great and great grandsons of the late Hall of Fame shortstop, will conduct the 7th inning stretch coming up. It's brought to you by Budweiser. Joe Tinker managed the Whales of the Federal League, the Cubs, and before that the Cincinnati Reds. So it all comes together here today.
Had a long run as a shortstop for the Cubs, of course, and then returned as a player manager.
Back in 1913. It's a ground ball. It's going to be tough here as Samardzija gets over there, and they got him. Hamilton with that blazing speed. Good job by Rizzo not to panic. And a good feed to the pitcher.
Yeah, because if ever there was a time to panic, it's with Hamilton going down the line, because you got to do everything right to get this guy. Samardzija hustling on over there. And it's interesting, too, when you watch Samardzija break for first base, I don't know if we'll get another look at it, the direct line he takes to the bag. A lot of times when you're covering first base, you're taught to kind of come 10, 15 feet down the line, belly out. But with Hamilton going down the line, you just got to go right to the bag.
Another diving stop by Rizzo. And Samardzija with the grab at first. And then Jeff just did a little option flip to Rizzo and it went past him. So I guess an error after the play, but when it counted, he made the play.
Rizzo, one of the better defensive first basemen in the game, showing some great range. He's a little bit behind Samardzija, but he's able to hang on. All that PFP paying off.
So excited he bounced the throw to his first baseman. Now Santiago switch hitter, first plate appearance. Check that second after Phillips left the game due to back spasms. Yeah, Joe Tinker, 1913, was a celebrity endorser for Coca-Cola.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Actually, a picture of that ad if you go to his bullpen page.
They named Tinker Toys after him.
On Baseball Reference. There's a bouncer to Rizzo.
Hey, that's a major league record.
Time now for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Budweiser.
Take me out to the ball game. The Joe Tinker family.
All right, Cub fans, let me hear ya. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if we ever get back. Root, root, the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. All game. Let's get some runs, Cubbies.
Reds leading 3-0. Alfredo Simon. And their rotation for Matt Latosin has been really good, and Starlin Castro's been really good to start this season. Leadoff single here in the 7th.
And they may be going batter by batter here with Simon, showing indications of starting to lose it a little bit the last couple of innings. He's continued to string bagels up there on the scoreboard. This little baby slider out over the middle of the plate. Castro rifles into left center for a knock. McCure was up earlier. I believe that's still him tossing down there.
One strike to Sweeney.
Cubs will head for Samardzija if his spot comes up in the batting order here in the 7th. An outstanding effort for Jeff this afternoon.
That was PFP in the top of the inning. 2-1.
pitchers fielding practice, a big part of spring training. Cover first, comebackers, bunt plays.
Ground ball, and it rolls right up the left arm of Todd Frazier. And the Cubs now will bring the tying run to the plate with nobody out.
Don't see left-handed hitters hit the ball down the third base line on the ground very often. A lot of times if they do, there's not a whole lot on it. Looks like that's going to be the day for Simon.
Time for a pitching change. Sam LeCure is on. Cubs threatening in the 7th. We'll be back. Defense to get all 3 outs in the top of the 7th inning.
Toughest there with the speedy Hamilton. Get over there! Get over there! Get over there! That's a big part of that in spring training too. The catcher has to yell "get over there" every time you work on that play too.
Running the post route. Right-hander Sam LeCure.
Yep. Big chance for the Cubs. It's a little something going against this Reds bullpen.
Wellington Castillo, the batter. Here's a pitch.
Curveball is LeCure's best offering. That was it right there for strike 1. Mix in a slider, good changeup, and a fastball that 87, 88. He's not a hard thrower, so he has to use all of his pitches. Finesse guy with good command. Finesse guys with bad command are not in the big leagues.
Good point.
So far, he's pitched to a .180 ERA through 4 ball games.
Only covering 5 innings. Just the outside corner with that fastball at 87. Castro reached on a base hit, then Sweeney on an error. Castillo bunted the other day against the Yankees. A similar spot, not the score, but a couple of men on with nobody out. Did it on his own.
Yeah, that's, you know, as a hitter, you know, there are times where the situation might say, hey, this would be a good time to get a bunt down, but you got to remember where you are in the batting order, if there's RBI guys behind you or not. In that situation, Rick Renteria would prefer that Wellington just swing the bat. That's the other part of when you're scuffling to score runs, though. You kind of press and you try things you might not otherwise try.
He's not real happy with that call. You rarely see him argue with an umpire. Does he have a case? It was outside the box.
Probably comes under the category of too close to take in this situation, especially because it was up a little bit. If that ball's down and in the strike zone, you know, go ahead and lay off it. Hope you get the call. You know, that's a pitch he can handle.
There's Valbuena with one away. Well, it may be cold, but it sure is pretty. Wrigley Field. That is a shot of summer right there. Summer's on the way. It'll be here eventually.
How green the ivy was in that clip we had of Mike Schmidt hitting 4 home runs back in April of 1976.
We've had springs where the ivy has shown up fairly early, but this is not one of them. They had to replace some of those vines out there. They're working on the bricks in the offseason. On a hop, it's going to get past Santiago. Castro will score, and the Cubs break the shutout streak. It's 3-1.
At long last, the Cubs cross the pay station here. One in looking for more. Good swing by Valbuena. You're up about thigh high with that fastball.
So 24 consecutive scoreless innings before that run. And Kalish will hit for Samardzija. Ryan Kalish with the tying runs on base now. Curve missed outside, ball one.
Yeah, tough day in New York the other day. Had some opportunities, 3 separate opportunities to drive in runs. Wasn't able to cash in, so good chance for him here to start feeling a little bit better about things. Cubs as a group hitting $120 in the pinch so far this year.
Back-to-back curveballs, the second one for a strike. It's 1-1.
Tough assignment for a young player. Late game at bats, important at bats, facing pitchers you have very little book on, if any.
So Samardzija's day done after another 7-inning performance. His ERA still at 1.29. He continues to search for that elusive win. Santiago calling off Jay Bruce, 2 outs.
You go through a stretch like Samardzija is right now, where you pitch so well. It's not just this year. You go back to his final 3 or 4 starts last year. It was similar. All you can do is just kind of laugh about it and just keep working hard, and hopefully things will turn in your favor. You could cry about it, but there's no crying in baseball, so you have to laugh about it. Realize that part of the team, it's just you're another piece in the puzzle, and you've got your piece. You got to do what you do. You go out there and you pitch well, you hold the other club down, and have a whole lot of control over the number of runs your team scores.
Strike to Bonifacio.
Man of the breaking ball, always a key for LeCure. Ability to drop that hook in there for strike one really sets things up for him. The plate appearances for Bonifacio today. Singled first time up, lined out in the fourth, hit the ball hard that time, and then worked a walk in the sixth. Manny Parra up in the Reds' pen with an eye towards Rizzo.
Bonifacio strikes out. The Cubs get a run and trail 3-1 after 7. Game summary. The Cubs finally snapping a 24-inning scoreless streak on a Luis Valbuena RBI single in the 7th. Jeff Samardzija, very good once again today. Only 1 earned run, 3 total allowed in his 7 innings. Start something special with great leases and low financing on a new Honda. Visit shophonda.com or visit your local Honda dealer. Here's Justin Grimm, as the Cubs bullpen will try to keep the Reds close here late. 3-1 in the 8th. Strike on Jay Bruce.
Good yacker from Grimm to get things started here for strike one. Grimm got that win Friday in St. Louis, pitching the 10th inning. That's a game where Wellington Castillo hit the 3-run bomb in the 11th.
Bruce, Frazier, Ludwig for the Reds. Wind has been blowing in off the lake all afternoon. missed a little low. It's 3-1.
I guess that's the curse from a pitcher's point of view of the wind blowing in. You know you got a chance to pitch a low-run game, but you also know that your guys might not get many.
Fly ball to left. Junior Lake back now in. And let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Game 1 of 7 on this 2-team homestand. Reds here, then the Diamondbacks. I guess 3 teams. Kansas City Packers.
Packers
too.
will be in town.
Yeah. Bender for a strike, 1-1 to Frazier.
Frazier likes the ball out away from him and up a little bit. Grimm certainly with enough fastball to jam him inside if they so desire, if he can get it in there. Now breaking ball, fastball away. Now they're going to go slider away. Whoop. Hold off it a little bit. He's got a fastball, slider, curve, and a change. Working out of the pen, it's primarily fastball, curveball, slider. Former starting pitcher who would like to return to that role at some point. It's 2 bad ones in a row with the slider. As a starter, you probably see him use that changeup a little bit more, especially against the left-handed hitters.
The 3-2 on the way. Fouled back. Cubs will face a left-hander tomorrow. Chicago area native Tony Cingrani. See Mike Alt in the lineup. Another 3-2 breaking ball. Foul to the seats. Edwin Jackson will go for the Cubs. 121st pitch. So 1 out base runner. We'll bring up Ludwig.
Do the Cardinals put Joe Kelly on the DL?
Yeah, he was trying to beat out a hit, right?
Strained a hammy.
Trying to be an athlete.
Stay in your lane. Be careful.
Ludwig last year on opening day suffered a right shoulder injury, which led to surgery, missed 116 games. You go in the Wayback Machine for Ludwig as Castillo will talk it over with Grimm. Ludwig was a 2nd-round pick of the A's back in 1999. He started his minor league career by homering in his first 2 ever plate appearances. He then followed that up by striking out 13 times in his next 16 at-bats. Maybe he started to think this is a little too easy.
Yeah, probably over swinging just a hair, maybe.
First 2 major league at bats in 02 at Texas, he singled and doubled.
Yeah, that was minor league pitcher saw him turn on a couple fastballs. Whoop.
They got Frazier with a good throw. The tag is late. Now Frazier decided, I'm just going to keep on going, and he beat the throw by Rizzo.
Yeah, ideally there, if you recognize that the guy's taking that absurdly early jump, you just step off. But he didn't. He was just make a pickoff throw to first base. That's a good call. They got it right.
The other thing there, too, JD, I think infield instructors on that play, they want the first baseman to go get that throw. And Anthony looked just a little flat-footed, maybe. So a stolen base for Frazier.
I've seen it twice now with Mesoraco and then Frazier, 2 guys that you don't think of as base stealers, getting really big jumps, taking advantage of it. Bonifacio behind the bag catching that ball. He had to go a long way to reach back to try to apply that tag.
And that is a much easier throw for a left-handed throwing first baseman. The tapper towards short, and Castro tried to barehand it. That'll be an infield single for Ludwig.
With Ludwig going down the line, I'm not so sure this is a ball you need to barehand. I mean, it wasn't hit sharply, but it wasn't that softly hit either. I think he can glove that ball and still get Ludwig at first.
I would agree.
You know, that ball that's rolling on the grass a little bit easier. That ball bouncing, that's a really difficult play to make, and probably even more so on a cold day like today. Cubs finally push one across, and the Reds looking to answer here the very next inning. Late in a game like this, 2-run game, first and third one out, you start to think about safety squeeze. Well, Brian Price feels like he's got the right people in place. Mesoraco up there, especially as hot as he's been. Infield will play for 2.
First and third, 1 out. Here we go. Slider inside. Reds trying to make it 4 out of 5. After starting the year 3-8. Cubs trying to avoid their 5th consecutive defeat. Are going to get a run. Mesoraco fortunate to get out of the way, but as a result, Frazier able to score, and it's 4-1.
Turning into an ugly inning here for the Cubs. 1-out walk. Didn't get the out on the pickoff at first. Infield single on a play that maybe should have been made by Castro. Now a wild pitch brings one home.
Reds get that run right back. Runner at second as James Russell cranks it up in the bullpen.
They may be inclined to put him on here with the base open. Reds went 9-1 in this ballpark last year, 17-3 the last 2 seasons combined. The one win the Cubs had here was a 14-inning game.
Really tough go here lately against this team. They've been in the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, but after another early exit last year in the 1-game wild card round, the Reds made a change in the manager's chair. Foul tip, strike 3.
Reds won 97 games 2 years ago, 90 last season as Mesoraco pulls off the slider.
Yeah, and this is not, for Brian Price, a grow with a young team type of situation for a new manager. This is, we're in that window right now.
Kind of like Matheny in St. Louis and Osmus in Detroit.
Pitch to Cozart. This is in. Ball 1. Long pause by Grimm. One missed badly, 2-0.
He's having a hard time staying back. Consistently, he's been up, flying open a little bit.
Roger Bernardina on deck.
Frustrating for a pitcher. You can't get your fastball down, so you try a breaking ball. You fall off that one a little bit, leave that up.
Strike called, 3-1. As a sign from Castillo. The pitch, strike 2. Got a tweet from Billy Crum asking, how do you pronounce Johnny Evers or Evers' surname? I've heard it both ways. You normally hear it Evers, but my understanding is that it was actually Evers.
When he grew up in Troy, New York, they called him Evers. He said he answered to both, and he said you can pronounce it either way.
There's your answer.
He goes, I'm Evers, but growing up, everybody called me Evers.
So, Billy, however you want to do it is fine with us, and would have been fine with Johnny.
Dorsett.
Chop to the shortstop, Castro. He'll throw to first, and the inning is over. The Reds get a run and now lead by 3 once again. Cubs won, bottom of the 8th. Our producer of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports is Mark Brady. Our director, Skip Ellis, and Doug Stanton, our associate producer. Stage manager in the booth, Paula Oskrova. Our executive producer, Bob Vorwald. Our studio coordinator, WGN, right up the street from Wrigley Field, is Christina Ballas. That's Roger Bernardina. And Sam LeCure continues on, and a strike called on Junior Lake. (4-1) Cincinnati. Lake could not pull the bat back in time, apparently. Ball made down at first by Marvin Hudson.
Yeah. Initially, I thought he had pulled it back, but it looked like he jabbed at it.
One and two.
Red starter today, Alfredo Simon, 6 scoreless innings, or unearned runs anyway. Allowed 1 run of his unearned. Walked a couple, struck out 3. Since then, it's been Sam LeCure. Got him out of trouble in the 7th. And now he works in the 8th.
The run Simon allowed today was unearned. Got him on strikes.
Well, Simon has an 0.86 ERA now. Pretty good for a guy who was not supposed to be in the rotation.
Shadows over third. Light standards. Manny Parra has served many roles with the injuries in their bullpen, and he'll face Anthony Rizzo when we come back. Marshall's spot for the Reds bullpen, but Manny Parra, even when Marshall comes back, maybe working his way into higher leverage situations.
Yeah, found a home in the bullpen with the Reds last year. Pitched well. You see the breakdown left-right for Rizzo, and that's been a big part of the story this year. His performance against left-handed pitchers last year really struggled. A nice bounce back so far this season. Certainly could have understood if Price had stayed with Sam LeCure. He was going along nicely. 2 more games in this weekend series. Sometimes you don't want that dangerous left-handed hitter to get a look at your lefty reliever. They've got a 3-run lead, so it's a fairly comfortable situation for him.
Lined and on a hop. That eats up Cozart. Should be a base hit. Second single of the day for Rizzo.
Another good at-bat off a left-handed pitcher. Solid contact. This is a rocket up the middle. It's got a little inside-out slice spin. Makes it even more problematic for Cozart.
Scherholtz has flied out and grounded out twice. 0 for 3. Fans are bundled up, and you see the line where the shadows begin. People have kind of scooted down into the sun where it's not quite as cold.
Like cats looking for the sun coming through the window. They're just kind of crawling around trying to find the sunshine. Ara, formerly a starting pitcher with the Brewers, a guy who when he first came up they were really high on. Lefty with good stuff. Really struggled with his control. He had the full arsenal: fastball, slider, curve, change, split finger pitch. Working out of the Reds bullpen, he's been able to simplify it some.
Votto will backhand, throw to second, and that's the only out they'll get. They force Rizzo. That goes 3 to 6. 2 outs.
Joey Votto won a Gold Glove back in 2011. Last year he committed 14 errors, the most of any first baseman in the league.
I'm going to guess a lot of his errors are on throws. Some unbalanced throws, especially on bunts. Pretty sure-handed down there. Here's Castro.
Yeah, a lot of times a player can save himself errors by just being overly cautious, never trying to make a play. What was the reputation that Steve Garvey had when he was playing first base for the Dodgers? Really good hands around the bag, but just never would make an aggressive play trying to nail a lead runner on a bunt. I don't have the evidence to support that. That's just what the reputation was. Right.
Well, Votto and Phillips have been terrific over there on the right side for many years, including today. 797 starts together. Ground ball to third, picked up by Frazier. That will end the inning. We'll head off to the ninth. It's the Reds 4 and the Cubs 1. brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Ford, manufacturers of America's best-selling brand. Check out our best-selling lineup at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Left-hander James Russell, who actually was born in Cincinnati, grew up in Texas. Will pitch the ninth. Will face pinch hitter Neftali Soto.
Well, Dad Jeff was pitching for the Reds and the Rangers back in the day. James worked a scoreless inning on Sunday. That was his only appearance on the road trip.
Strike one on Soto. All of his appearances early on have been as a pinch hitter. First baseman's not going to play a lot with Joey Votto on the roster. Swings and fouls. 0-2. Big league debut last year. He went 0 for 12, but he's 1 out of 3 so far this year. 0-2 pitch. Make it 2 out of 4 here in 2014.
Reds pinch hitters have been really good. 333. Prior to that, at bat.
It's been the case for quite some time. Chris Heisey has done a good job as a pinch hitter in the past. Xavier Paul. Don't forget Sunday night, Wrigley 100, a century celebration. 7 o'clock Central on WGN. We talked about Hamilton in the spring training. The qualifier I put on it was assuming he gets on base a lot, which he has not done so far early on. Russell better hurry. The flip out at first. Desperation from James Russell, and they did get Hamilton.
It's credited with a sacrifice, but obviously he had bigger things in mind. It's a heck of a play with that ball rolling away from you. That is one fine play by James Russell. Now, if Rizzo comes to get that ball, there's no way Russell's going to beat Hamilton to the bag. So Rizzo played it right by waiting back. It was on Russell to make the play, and he made a spectacular play.
So Soto now at second. Just to finish the thought, I didn't put a number on it in terms of his on-base percentage, but decent for a leadoff hitter. If you get on maybe a 350 clip, I think he can steal 100.
Joey Votto said he's an MVP candidate. I was back in spring training, and I think he was kind of thinking in terms of if he did get on base a bunch, he would flirt with stealing 100 bases.
The last major league player to do that was Vince Coleman in 1987, 109 steals. There have been 21 seasons of 100 steals in major league history, and Billy Hamilton is on that list several times. Sliding Billy Hamilton. Played most of his career in the National League in the late 1800s. He did it 4 times. That's a strike. It's 2-1. Three balls and a strike. Last time Votto was in that 3-1 spot, was against Jeff Samardzija, and he took a fairly good and hittable pitch. And I think you were correct. He theorized that they were not going to give him something to hit. See what happens here. Takes it outside, ball 4. Second time he's walked.
Yeah, at the time it was a 1-run game in the 5th inning with a man on second base, so they had a base open, and he just figured, well, 3-1, they're not going to challenge me. And quit early on a pretty hittable fastball, but ultimately worked his walk.
Well, teams generally are not going to try to, go right after Votto at any time, but he simply will not expand his strike zone. He'll take his walk. So you've got Votto on one end of the spectrum, and you have Starlin Castro on the other. And I think there are whispers both ways. He should swing more. Yeah. He should swing less.
And the best players, I think, in the history of the game, for the most part, are really stubborn people. They have their own idea of what, how to go about it. They've been very successful doing it. And you try to change them. A lot of times, good things don't happen.
Santiago into the game in the 3rd inning for the injured Brandon Phillips. Back spasms, the reason Phillips had to leave. Suffered those in the 1st inning.
Yeah, he managed to get a base hit that first time up, but you could tell by the swing he struck out in the 3rd. You could tell by the way he reacted to the swing and miss in that at bat that he was likely done for the day, and see whether he's in there tomorrow or not. Santiago, a veteran switch hitter, has been around for a number of years now.
Two and two. He's run it full with Bruce on deck. Russell has a sign. Swing and a miss. Pitch was dropped by Castillo as Soto took off for 3rd, so he and Votto are in scoring position on the double steal.
Starting the base runners to stay out of the double play, and Price confident that his guy could make contact off of Russell. He didn't, but he got this guy's up an extra 90 feet anyway. Chance for Bruce to really extend this lead. The closer is Jonathan Broxton. He's up down in the Reds bullpen. You're down 4-1. You're scuffling the way the Cubs hitters are. It feels like it's 10-1.
Sweeney, Castillo, Valbuena are the scheduled hitters in the bottom of the 9th inning. There's Broxton. It's 2-1. Thought Zach Rosscup pitched well the other night.
Yeah, he did.
Cubs' 26th man, so he had to head back to the minor leagues after that doubleheader. He ended up being all on Russell's shoulders last year. Now with Wesley Wright here, 2-2 on Bruce, and you've got Rosscup in the wings, just in case. You feel a lot better about the left-handed situation in the Cubs bullpen. We're going to see Rosscup again this year. I don't have any doubt about that. Soto at third, Votto at second. And a 3-2 count on Jay Bruce. Frazier would bat next. Bruce gets on. Called strike 3. Well, Cutter caught the outside corner. Bruce not happy. We'll head to the bottom of the ninth. 4-1 Reds. If they're going to come back here in the ninth, be against Jonathan Broxton. Actually started the year on the disabled list following flexor mass surgery last August, reinstated on the 8th, and he's looking for his second save.
Big Jonathan Broxton used to light up the radar gun at about 98, 99, 100 miles an hour at times. It's no longer part of the program. 93 guy, 94 maybe. With that, he's using his slider a little bit more. Cut fastball as well.
One to Sweeney. Sinker that time at 89. 0-2.
High, top of the zone, two-seamer. Don't get that one called very often.
$28,699 braving the cold today. Wellington Castile with the Cubs chairman Tom Ricketts watching in the background. Foul tip. Strike 3. Rocco dropped the ball, but was pulling it out to make the throw.
Does the transfer rule apply to catchers when they're trying to throw the ball around the horn?
I was thinking about that, but clearly like he caught it. Batter's box in the shade. Pitching mound still very much in the sun. Pretty well hit to right. And Bruce, I think, lost that ball momentarily in the sun, but was able to locate it at the last second and make the catch. 2 outs. Boy, Castillo probably made the best contact of any hitter in this game. He almost hit a home run on a double to the gap in left center in the 5th. Hit one into the teeth of the wind that time.
Yeah, he keeps that approach there. Keep driving the ball alley to alley. Use the whole field. That will serve him well.
Last chance now. It's Luis Valbuena. Justin Ruggiano in the on-deck circle in the pitcher's spot. Fouled back, 1-1. They're hoping here for a very late rally.
Appreciate the optimism.
Kick the 2-1, 3-1.
Well, if nothing else, you'd like to force Broxton to throw a bunch of pitches and perhaps not be available for tomorrow.
Outside corner, it's full, 3-2. Ruggiano hopes to get an opportunity. Tying run still in the dugout, however, at the moment. And there's ball 4.
Will be ready to hit.
The 0-1 to Ruggiano is a strike with Valbuena taking second. He will not be given a stolen base. Cubs down to their final strike now, 0-2. Called strike 3, and that'll do it. So the Cubs, who have now dropped 5 in a row, have scored just 1 run over their last 3 games. The final score, the Reds 4 and the Cubs 1.